Number 135, trust your gut.
Trust your gut, 135. Also, trust your heart, trust your feelings, trust your intuition, trust your instincts, emotional reasoning. A corrupt argument from pathos, the ancient fallacy of relying primarily on gut feelings rather than reason or evidence to make decisions. A recent 2017 Ohio State University study finds, unsurprisingly, that people who trust their gut are significantly more susceptible to falling for fake news, phony conspiracy theories, frauds, and scams than those who insist on hard evidence or logic. See also deliberate ignorance, the affective fallacy, and the third person effect. Ooh, this is an interesting one. I
I've
have,
been told this before. Like, if I'm trying to like make a decision or something, people will be like, trust your gut. And I'm all like, my gut's telling me to do this. And then like,
hmm,
I don't know, you know? And like, I've even told Bryce this before, because like, we'll be talking about like making plans to like I go visit him or we're planning a trip to Chicago for next month. Um, or like we'll be just planning trips and I'm like I kind of don't like want to make decisions when I'm like high on emotions, but I always end up fucking doing it anyway, which is a problem. But yeah, like I've been told like oh just trust your instincts or trust your gut and I'm like sometimes that's not always the best option though, you know? Like because then I don't think rationally and then I'm like not really thinking through my decisions and then I end up regretting a decision that I made. So,
hmm, yeah. I feel like Bryce is waiting for me to say something. Um, for me, this one, I think this one, how they paint it is actually really, I think it's honestly very, I want to make sure I say the right word here because I want to be definitive, but I also want to be kind at the same time. I think this is insanely reductive and also um, it invalidates the existence and the importance of emotional intelligence. I think that for, I think that to say something like, as an example, a corrupt argument, blah, 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 relying on gut feelings rather than reason or evidence to make decisions. A study in 2017 finds it says unsurprisingly, which is already it already like dictates for me that the person who wrote this is biased against trusting gut, but finds unsurprisingly that people who trust their gut are significantly more susceptible to falling for fake news, phony conspiracy theories, etc. To me, it's like I think that if one is not developed in one's emotional intelligence and one responds to excitation or just like doesn't know how to interpret their body sense, I think 100%. I think that if you're someone who's told trust your gut, listen to your feelings, but you have no clue how to interpret your feelings, no clue how to connect with them, etc., then yes, that's a horrible thing to do. Trust your gut when you have no emotional intelligence. However, I think that if in the thing where I would challenge this is I think that trusting your gut, i.e., listening to what your heart is saying, listening to what your emotions are saying, I think is highly important as long as that skill is developed very well. And I think that for myself, there was a time in my life where I can say definitively, me being more emotionally driven got me into a lot more trouble than into a lot more good things. So I want to be really clear that there was a time in my life where I was much more of a just follow the feelings and who cares about the logic. And that got me into a lot of shitty situations. However, now I will say where we are in society at this current time with all the stuff that's going on um, American politics, geopolitical changes, AI freaking everybody out, and all the things. It's not often that I'm consulting my logic to understand the world around me now. It's much more that I'm listening to, hey, does that feel right to me? Does that actually resonate? When this person starts to use language like you should, we need, you have to, does that feel right in my body? No, it doesn't. I don't agree with this person who's demanding that I should, need, have to do something. from me like listening to this thing inside of my chest, it's like, no, that's not accurate. That doesn't feel right at all. Versus when someone's being articulate, they're being kind, they're being loving, they're standing for unity, they're standing for expansion. And I feel inside of my system like, yeah, that feels I agree with how that feels. Okay, that checks out for me. Like most of how I walk around in the world is by checking the internal sense and then seeing how that lands outside. So but again, understanding that for me, emotional intelligence and building emotional intelligence is something that I've dedicated my life to. So it's something it's become a primary muscle that I've spent a lot of time growing. So to me, I think that if we ignore the existence of emotional intelligence as a valid muscle to grow as a navigating system through life, then I think this is 100% correct that saying things like trust your gut, trust your feelings, trust your intuition, I think is a negative thing without validating the existence of emotional intelligence. However, if we include emotional intelligence, building one's ability to be able to interpret the world using one's emotional states and not jumping to conclusions, but actually learning how to go inside, calm down, listen, what is true for you, what's not. I think that it actually is, I don't agree with this being a fallacy with the inclusion of high levels of emotional intelligence, is my personal thoughts on this one.
I think one reason that this one is comes across as very reductive is because I think the conversation that you're talking about was already covered in a lot more great detail in fallacy number 5, which, by the way, we covered like 2 years ago. So like I don't blame Alan for not remembering that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah,
Is, is it actually number five? Can I go back and read
it's
what
number
that?
5. Yeah, yeah. So we can scroll back up. It's the effective fallacy, also known as the follow your heart fallacy. So this one, as you can see, goes into a lot more detail about it. And
Okay.
Alan and I had a 36-minute conversation on this one when we did. I just checked how long it was. In fact, I
Nice.
might even like cut some of it out. But yeah, this is this. So number 5 is all about like that your feelings are uh automatically validating as far as like reason goes. So yeah, this one goes into more detail on that subject, but I think this one is more like, is it a subset of that one? Absolutely. I find it interesting that they even decided to make it its own fallacy, the trust your gut one, because it's, I think the number 5 covers it already, but
Yeah.
but uh so I think like, okay, the reason that it must be really reductive is because instead of more I could see why it's a little bit different. So the effective fallacy, the follow your heart fallacy, is just like my feelings are truth, and
Yeah.
like that's not the case necessarily. And so that's that. And I think this is more like, well, my gut says so, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And
Or someone instructing, just trust your gut. Yeah, like
yeah,
just go for it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's more, it's not, it's more like external, like
That's true.
you trust your gut.
Yeah, or like, example, like someone like hypes a crowd up, right? Gets them in a really excited place, and then it's like, here's this product, trust your gut. It's like, oh, we're all
Yeah,
hyped. Yeah, sure, of course we're gonna trust our gut and we're gonna, buy the thing because we're hyped, you
yeah,
know? Or
yeah,
like an example, like a legitimately, like, I think that has like social implication, not just from a product standpoint, but if there's a leader of some kind in like a political discussion or something who's getting people really fired up and angry and intense, and then they say, like, look at this thing, trust your gut, and it's like you've gotten everybody super hyped in a particular direction, and then you're saying, hey, those feelings you have, now make a decision based off of your feelings. It's like, yeah, that could be an issue for sure.
very good. Very good. But yeah, hopefully that answers why it seems really reductive, because it's a more specific
Yeah,
fallacy.
yeah.
And we already covered the other one 2 years ago, which it's always good to go back and like re-listen or rewatch those just because it's
Has it
like
really
it's
been
been so long.
2 years?
Almost, well, coming up on it in November is when it'll be 2 years
Wow.
for us. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, and we're almost there.
Yeah.
Should we keep going?
Yeah.